Howdy, y'all. There we go. Welcome to Liberty Libations number 73. My name is Jake Green, joined as usual by Alden, Hardee, Stephen Hilton, Zane, Placie, and Nick Ciesieslki is on the way with Zach Varnell in the background producing things. We don't know what he's producing, but he's back there producing some stuff for sure. I have faith that he is. Y'all,
he's producing
it's a momentous occasion today. Our Rabbit Eye Wine, who is the show's first sponsor, has arrived. Stephen doesn't have his yet. Alden doesn't have his yet, but Zane does.
Oh yeah,
nice.
Zane picked his up. So yeah, this show is brought to you by Rabbit Eye Wine. It's a blueberry wine based here in the state of Georgia. It's freaking delicious. This is my first time trying their dry. It's amazing.
I haven't had one I don't like. I've tried all the flavors they make, and they're all fantastic.
Interesting. Yeah, no. Y'all keep talking for a second. Y'all, Alden, what are you drinking? Y'all go through your drinks. I got.
What am I not drinking? I was just telling them that I'm running low, so I got like a little bit of everything in the cabinet and the fridge. This has vodka, I think a splash of tequila, grandma, chili bitters, grapefruit juice, and margarita mix. Oh my god, I don't know. Right, it's not bad, honestly. Yeah.
Okay.
You'd be shocked that it's at how not bad it is, actually.
Brian, you can go to rabbiteyewine.com.
No, I think he wants to buy the kitchen sink drink.
Oh, is that what he wants to do? Go to rabbiteyewine.com and you can look at all these locations they have, where you can go pick it up in person, or you can order it here in the state of Georgia. So
I'm gonna start adding Rabbit Eye Wine to my kitchen sink drink.
That's too many things. That's too many dadgum things, man. You can't do that.
I'm gonna build some cocktail around it.
It honestly sounds terrible.
Leave the cocktail experimentation to me. That's my thing.
Exactly. Y'all, we also have a brand new merch store, which I'm going to share with you right now.
Swag.
Brand new merch store is live. You can go get your Threat to Democracy hat. You can go get your Liberty Libations pint glass, your drink beer, spread misinformation, drink whiskey, spread misinformation, or a bunch of other things. And more products will be coming very soon, including things from Divide and Dominate, which was my movie that I made a couple of years ago now. So head on over to peacefulsea.network to get your merch. And you can also watch this show over there, which makes it super convenient. All right, y'all. It was a interesting day yesterday and leading into today. It has been announced that Donald Trump is coming to the Libertarian Convention in Washington, D.C. to give a speech and apparently to address grievances that the LP has with him. Not sure that second part's going to happen, but first of all, what was everybody's initial reaction? Because who here thought it was just a troll? Somebody was just winding us up.
I definitely thought it was a joke when I first saw it.
Yeah, it's wild. I guess my very first question to y'all is, what does Trump have to gain from coming to a place where everybody hates him?
I mean, we're talking about him right now, but it's the same as always.
It's not going to garner votes, though. Like, is it just an ego thing, or is he trying to get votes? Because he's not going to get any votes.
I feel like this whole project has been an ego thing, but somehow it works also to get votes. So I don't know. I think it's potentially more of that, but
yeah.
Well, I mean, there has to be some gain in it. Otherwise, he's not going to do it. I mean, that's the independent vote is allegedly what splits the vote between the two major parties, anyways. And the only way to beat a rigged election is through a landslide, which he knew that in 2016. 2020 there was no stopping it. I mean, let's say the fix is in,
which they bragged about for a very long time.
Yeah, well, and he does, claim to at least have libertarian roots with his foundational ideology. Claims, it's not really proof it in the pudding on that one.
Yeah,
he claims a lot of things.
Well, I mean, like Roy Cohn was his confidant, his mentor, and wasn't that guy the attorney for Senator McCarthy back in the day?
Was he? That's interesting. Grumpy Noam has something. He said, I heard he's not actually going to be there. He's going to stream it. Which would, what's the friggin' point of that? Just record a video. Who cares? Like, if he doesn't show up in person, then what's the point of that? Like,
Zane, what were you going to say about the whole thing?
I mean, I think that he thinks that he's going to win votes or do something, but I don't think that that's right. It's not like you're just going to a convention of a bunch of independents that you need to win in order to win the election. Right. You're going to a convention of 1,000 of the most hardcore libertarians on the planet. There's no way that any of them are going to vote for you. I think that Steve's right that, people make the mistake of saying that, libertarians, that's like being an independent. That's like being a moderate. So maybe he thinks that he can appeal the quote unquote moderate or independent voters because people don't know the difference between that and a libertarian.
Yeah, see, the same as
libertarian.
The same as what Grumpy's saying, where he thinks he's a libertarian, is because he probably doesn't know that much about what it means to truly be a libertarian, and he probably doesn't get that like libertarians aren't on the fence, like they're not someone to be swayed anyway.
I mean, we're gonna go through some tweets here in a minute because some can be swayed. Most of them can be swayed. But then were they a libertarian? Like, yeah,
not a real one.
Well, first, let's. Angela McCardle went on David versus Goliath. So let's watch her reasoning for inviting him to she's the chair of the LP.
We're having our presidential debate Saturday night.
Okay.
And right after that, the winner of a straw poll, is going to make a brief announcement about what our grievances are, and then we're going to hear from the chief former POTUS himself, Donald Trump, and he's going to address those grievances and speak directly to our concerns as libertarians.
Everybody knows on Twitter that you guys have been pushing for Donald Trump since the beginning. What are your grievances with your God King?
Well, we didn't see the Federal Reserve ended. We would have liked to have at least seen it audited.
This guy on the left looks like Lane Staley.
We didn't.
Who is he?
We did not see Ross Ulbricht freed. That's an issue. Inflation. Operation Warp Speed. That's an issue. It's going to be the Libertarian Festivus. We've got a lot of problems, and he's about to
I love that reference.
And he knows that he is coming to address our actual complaints, and I think that's pretty awesome.
You got smarts. Look, he's took him all of 2 minutes to make the switch. He's on board.
I'm a whore. I'm not cheap, but I'm a whore.
Told y'all, motherfuckers.
He's so funny. That show's great. If you don't know that show, you should definitely go watch it. Dave vs. Goliath. Dude's awesome. Yeah, I don't think he actually knows what he's getting into. Like, I do not think in the least that he understands what libertarians are, or like what our philosophy is, or just how freaking stupid we can be, and how freaking like so autistic that we cannot hear any outside arguments ever. So like I see him gaining maybe one vote. One person is going to be there who is kind of on the fence about the whole libertarian thing, and he's going to go over to vote for Trump. But that he's not going to get any votes from this, and I don't see how this benefits him.
It's going to be the girlfriend of some guy that was drugged to the convention. Anyway.
There we go.
Yeah.
I actually think it could end up severely hurting his reputation, saying that he showed up to a party full of what the Republicans consider losers.
The loser party.
Hang out with a bunch of losers and still didn't get any votes from it and got booed off.
Oh, if the numbers come in and it's like a flop or whatever.
It will be a flop. Like, yeah, he's going to get heckled. He's going to get booed. He's going to, like, people. I mean,
you think he'll get booed?
Oh, yes, 100%. I will be the one to start the booing if no one.
Oh, okay. I thought libertarians.
I'm still waiting for Alec Baldwin to walk out on the stage with his wig on
and shoot blanks at people. Well, that sounded weird, but
yes, exactly.
No, actual bullets.
What's up, Nick?
Nick Ciesieslki, welcome to the show, buddy.
There we are. I'm here.
Your room is
I
red.
hopped in reddish, yeah. That's the light.
More red than last week.
All right. Yeah, I was playing with the light, so yeah, I've got opinions on this topic.
Sweet. Let's hear your first opinion.
Yeah, right along what you're saying. this is really stupid for Trump. Like, there's nothing good that comes out of this for him.
I agree. I think
honestly, like it's good for us. Like, I know people are, hey, it's our convention, it should be our people, but but everyone bitches and moans about, well, we're not on the debate stage with them, and they don't get the. Well, guess what? This is the closest you're gonna fucking get. So quit being fucking retards about it, and like take this as validation that like this voting block fucking means something now, because it does. Because he has to show up and beg for some sort of attention. Like, oh no, I align with you guys, and you know what? We weren't getting that 4 years ago. That wasn't happening 6 years ago, 8 years ago, whatever. Like, it was, like you said, the loser party, a joke. You know, nothing. But now there's some sort of validation that, hey, you've got to start playing to these groups, and there's a voting block here, and you've got to prove it to them, which he's not going to. I think most of it, you know, you've got the loser side, which just hates Republicans more than anything else. I think they hate Republicans more than they like even understand libertarianism.
Well,
and then you've got our side
up on screen, Zach.
and then you've got our side who yeah, you've got that kind. Yes.
Joshua Reed Equal tweeted, "I'm not using the word libertarian to describe myself anymore. I'm a liberal." Yeah. And Karen Ann Harlow said, in other news, water is wet. Everyone already knew this, Joshua. You're the last to know, man. You're the last.
And then, you know, our side, I'm not going to forgive him for hiring John Bolton when he knew Douglas McGregor was right there. He hired Douglas McGregor in his last 6 weeks of office. Like, he knew he was sitting there.
Yep.
He went with John fucking, you know, start every war I can, Bolton. And then let's not even get into the whole, you know, COVID fiasco and keeping Fauci around and just that whole thing.
Yep.
Never going to happen. Like the two major sides that you're going to see there.
Or then the emergency powers he got during COVID, where he took over the Treasury. You know, like, hey, that you could have sent the entire IRS home because you had control of the Treasury through emergency powers. You could have been like, all right, we're turning this thing around right now. Shut that printer down. You guys go home. Nope.
Yeah, he pulled the sword out of the stone and made like origami snowflakes out of it.
But I think a lot of the screeching is that it was Trump who agreed. Well, if it was RFK also, there'd be a lot of screeching on that also. But I think if it had been Biden, because all these candidates were invited, right? They were all invited. Trump's the one who said yes so far.
Yep.
If it was Biden, I don't think we're going to see the screeching. I don't think Biden's going to do it because, again, it's really, really stupid for them to do this.
Who do you think would get booed more, Trump or Biden?
Probably Biden. Trump. No one. You think?
See, I thought Biden. Yeah.
Interesting, but yeah,
because he's the one currently.
Honestly,
I might get a heart attack from that though, just because he's in a room full of ghosts or something.
But if Trump's there, and then if RFK then feels the need to be there, now you've got two, you know, other candidates there. I still doubt Biden shows up, but
look,
if you look at what their conventions are going to be, I mean, the outcomes are predetermined. Nothing's going to happen there. They're going to be boring as hell. Like,
it's true.
You get all these
body doubles.
You get all these if you get these candidates in one place, our turf. Now we're looking at one of the most interesting political events of the year.
I completely agree.
What I was saying,
be one of the most ambitious crossover events in our lifetime.
That's right. That's right.
We tweeted out earlier from our Liberty Libations Twitter account. Because of this, we get far more attention for the LP convention. I mean, that's a win.
That's what I was just going to.
We can heckle the living crap out of him. We will be cemented as domestic terrorists, which is great. We can show off how stupidly many LP members dress and act, which is great. And we can get a secondhand tan. It's a win-win-win.
A what?
A secondhand tan, man. You just get your tan from him. You just get your tan. Yeah, secondhand tan.
Just dripping spray tan everywhere.
Yeah, but then we said, if you can't understand how this could be a good thing if played correctly, then I hope you're not in a position of authority within the LP. In no way is it an endorsement of Trump or his failure of a presidency. He has literally nothing to gain from agreeing to do this.
I wish that was more commonly like understood, is that just
but
because
not by
someone
Trump.
Well, no, nothing will be by Trump. But like, just because someone is speaking on your, podcast, even like when people have a guest on, it doesn't mean that like you agree with them or condone what they're saying. We had brought this up a couple weeks ago.
Wait, when we have Fuentes on next week, we don't agree with him.
Who's on next week?
I mean,
Fuentes.
No. I agree. The left started this whole thing. I mean, the whole cancel culture thing is a big part of it, but they call it platforming, and they think platforming people who disagree with you or have thoughts they deem unacceptable is an offense.
Yeah, because if we had Fuentes on our show, we would definitely be the one platforming him.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely,
that's exactly right.
But when Tucker Carlson was on Rogan last week, that was, I mean, they discussed that too.
Good episode.
Yeah, it was. Except for the part where he said bomb the data centers. I'm like, wait a second, I'm working at one of those places right now. Don't do that.
Hold off a couple months.
Yeah,
let's go ahead and do it. We're a little heavy on this show, so.
But I was,
but platforming. Back in the day, we just called that adult conversations.
There we go. Yes. Yep.
And when did that become such a bad idea?
I don't know if the whole term that, part of the agreement of him showing up is that if he's reelected, he pardons Ross Ulbricht. But if that is part of it, I'd listen to him drone on in his third grade level speaking for like 12 hours for a chance at Ross getting pardoned.
Let's be fair. His speech is going to be freaking hilarious.
Oh,
like it's going to be entertaining. I'm going to agree with exactly zero of it, but it's going to be really
Are you even gonna
fun.
understand it enough to agree with it? Like that's my thing with him usually is that like I don't even know what he's trying to even get at sometimes. I'll hear that.
The best.
So this kind of goes to one of the best things that the libertarians can get out of having Trump at our convention is look what happened when Vivek dropped out of the Republican primary and then endorsed him. The very same day, Trump's out there talking about central bank digital currencies, something that he'd probably never even heard about in his life. But he's all like, oh, we better watch out for these CBDCs because Vivek was not decide that it was better to play the game with him. And he actually did get his ear. And then Trump was actually talking about an important issue. So if we can do the same
it's an issue that he didn't understand. And Vivek said, hey, you don't understand this issue, but, just roll with it. They're going to love you for it. And he said, oh, they're going to love me for it. I'll roll with it. Then he realized, they do love me for it. Yeah. Like
if you just pitch, oh, dude, they're going to cheer like crazy. If you say those words, he'll be like, I'm in. Like, that's it.
Like what we need is someone to get up there to get in his ear and go, hey, when you get up there, just start off with taxation is theft. Just to say it.
Oh yeah. If those are the first words out of his mouth, oh man.
He might win me over at that point.
You want to win the room over? Start with those words. And could you imagine the media going insane with that?
Man. That would be good.
Let's this is from Buck Johnson over at the Counterflow podcast. Somehow just by showing up and being Trump, Donald J. Trump managed to make milquetoast Republicans who were happy shilling for the status quo reveal themselves. Now he's doing the same to those types in the Libertarian Party. What a fascinating superpower to have. 100%. It's unbelievable. This is why I said LP plus TDS as one of the titles of the episode at the beginning in the credits. It's like people just have such an ungarnered hate for this guy that it's astounding. Like I think they hate him more than they do like Osama bin Laden.
Yeah.
Like it's astounding.
They hate him more than Hamas.
They definitely hate him more than Hamas. If you ask, if you ask them Trump or Hamas, I guarantee you would get a long reel of people saying Hamas over Trump. Which is incredibly depressing. I don't understand why people so detest him. Like I don't like him. I don't agree with anything. Most of like 99%.
I think it can be hilarious.
He is very funny. He's very funny,
especially his Twitter. Like I remember I was listening to Timeline Earth right after the last election, and they were kind of I think it was right after he got out, and like the New York Times had did a compilation on their website of like all his tweets against specific people, and they were going through and reading out the best tweets he had going at certain people, and it was hilarious. One of the funniest things I had ever heard was them just reading tweets about him, of him just tweeting at people.
I believe it.
I was talking to my dad one time, and I had just said, like, in a sentence, something or other, like Trump's something or another, like the word Trump, like Trump card, like in a sentence. And he was like, "Oh, I don't use that word anymore." I was like, "What? Like, you're gonna change
the English language
over this guy? Like, you know how much power you're giving?
It's a freedom card now.
It's a freedom card.
I'm old enough to remember freedom fries. Zane might not be.
I remember freedom fries.
Oh yes,
dumbest thing we've ever done. Here's another tweet. To be clear, Donald Trump will face a crowd of skeptics at the National Convention to address concerns from our memberships in front of the largest media coverage and audience in the history of the convention by an exponential margin, reaching millions with our ideas. And that's bad. GTF.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And Ryan McWilliams is a public relations expert. So, I mean, I think his opinion here matters a little bit.
Well, here's a plot twist. What if Trump is just being invited so he can watch us nominate RFK as our presidential candidate?
What I was saying before about
choked on that one. I couldn't even get it out.
Yeah. What I was saying before about like Trump just like, doing things that get people talking and seeking, media attention in general. In this case, I feel like works more to the party's advantage than to his, which is interesting. But I wonder if he is still motivated by that, but I really do think that this benefits the party more than him.
I think he's kind of in a position where he has to take anything he can right now because RFK is pulling a ton from him. And did you see what RFK was trying to do? Is that a topic?
It's not a topic, but you can mention
it. Apparently, he tried to tell Biden, "Oh, let's go off of a poll in like October or September or whatever." And whoever of the two of us is polling higher, the lower polling person drops out. That way we don't have to go. That way we don't spoil it for Trump. Spoil it against Trump.
Wow.
Is that like collusion?
You can do that.
In fantasy football, that would be collusion.
Yeah.
I would approve it as the commissioner. So
of course you would.
So that was because I saw like, RFK to make announcement. I think this was a day, maybe 2 days ago. I'm like, what is he announcing? And then he's like, let's do a poll and whatever, and whoever comes out victorious in the poll, the other person drops out, goes head to head.
Do that, like,
it's never going to happen.
Biden's too selfish for that. Like, if RFK was running against another RFK, that would work. But there's not a normal politician that will ever take that deal because they never admit defeat. Stacey Abrams is still saying the election was stolen from her both times.
Right.
Which is funny because she was the one with the ballot harvesters out there. But.
Yeah. It's these people are narcissistic a-holes who will never cede power unless physically forced to, or they lose their mind to dementia.
I feel like the word a-holes specifically should like make a comeback. And that in doo-doo head.
Doo-doo head sounds great. Can we just we can work something out on this show, try to make it
kind of wrap this all up. Or you got more to?
No, we've got more. Yeah, no, I want to talk about what Patrick McFarland says. In 2018, the Mises Caucus takeover was sold to us as Ron Paul 2.0 with bold, unapologetic libertarian messaging, hundreds of thousands of dollars into the coffers, and thousands of new members under a Dave Smith presidential run. Now, 6 years later, after years of hard work from people who bought the promise, we get no Dave Smith run, severe financial issues, and in effect, a Donald Trump endorsement. If you're respectfully disappointed with this, you are allergic to relevance and have TDS like the loser brigade. Generally, I don't mind Patrick McFarland. I think he's a pretty smart dude. But
how is this a Donald Trump endorsement?
It's 100% in no way, shape, or form a Donald Trump endorsement. This is him like using the leftist rhetoric of platforming people.
It's amazing how angry people get. Like, you're allergic to relevance because that's what Dave Smith was telling the people. But I have to completely agree that Dave Smith is right. If you're pissed off that someone that you don't like is going to speak, who has a platform up millions times higher than you. I mean, what does the Republican Party, raise and spend on candidates? Billions in a even year election cycle, in a presidential cycle.
Yeah,
is it billions?
Billions of dollars. It would be billions. Like the presidential race raises $1 billion itself, usually, I think, or hundreds of. It's a shit ton of money, right?
High number.
And we're
this
we're
last time
nowhere
around here in
near.
Georgia, the OSHAT spent over $100 million.
Yeah.
No, it was the most expensive president or Senate run in history.
Right.
Wow.
Well, and just 5 years prior, he was still living in his mom's basement and making documentaries that no one watched for Al Jazeera.
But
that's how he saved up all
nice
that money.
Basement, Stephen. It was a nice basement. It was a
Well,
really
yeah.
it was
And
a
he could go to his daddy's
own
yacht
patio.
with Chinese businessman.
He had a bidet down there.
This was but
Look,
it's a completely different league, and we had, in order to get into that league, it kind of takes being a little bit irrelevant and like making some sort of media spectacle to say, hey, we exist. And then, this is going to be right at the time that our debate's happening. So it's going to be our debate. Media is going to have to be there already for that and set up for that if they're going to catch this. So
yes, I agree.
Yeah, it's like even for
attention
like
there, and then
forget
it's going
about
to be
Trump. How many random people are going to find out about the LP convention because they heard about it because Trump was speaking there?
Because of their hatred or affinity for Trump. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe they catch what someone's saying and they go, there's something, and maybe that just starts the rabbit hole a little bit.
Maybe.
Well, yeah, I mean, the messaging is catching on worldwide, right? You got President Bukele, and then you have Javier Milei, and then you got UFC 300, which was like the most watched pay-per-view event they've ever had.
You've got Klaus
calling you
Schwab
to read
mentioning
Mises.
libertarians.
Yeah. And that one guy was like, right after he won, it was like, read Mises, Austrian economics, if you love your country.
And Mises.org reported like selling out of that book, and then and like record number of downloads of the PDF the next day.
So that could be that's what Donald Trump has to gain from it. He's going to pick our most popular messages, and adopt them into his platform.
Yes.
Which is still a victory because we still get the exposure, and he's not going to espouse our messaging better than we can.
100%. Look,
it might start something.
You have to, when you are a party that is nearly irrelevant on the national stage, you call yourself the party of principle. You have to make moves that do not compromise those principles, but get people's attention.
Mm-hmm. And this doesn't compromise because we're not endorsing. We're not.
Nothing. That's true. Yeah.
It compromises nothing because there's no way, shape, or form that the LP is endorsing Donald Trump.
Is he being paid?
I don't think
I
so.
bet he's paying for it himself. I think they just said, hey, if you would like to speak, here's what it is. I'm sure that's probably what it is, hey, you get your Secret Service and whatever else to this location. And
I mean, to me, that'd be the only thing that would be an endorsement is if we pay him a speaking fee.
That would be it.
I still don't even necessarily count that as an endorsement.
I doubt
an endorsement either.
I doubt that they did that. I mean, I don't know for certain, but I would doubt that happened. I bet it was just you have a chance to talk directly to this voting bloc.
Yep.
Take it or leave it.
Yep. The third largest party in the United States. And so I do have a couple more things to say about Patrick McFarland's tweet. One of which is the second paragraph, which says, now 6 years later, after years of hard work from people, you guys and me, who bought the promise, we get no Dave Smith run, severe financial issues. And then he says the Trump endorsement, which is not a thing. But the no Dave Smith really cut me to the core.
That hurt.
That really hurt. That hurt real bad. The financial issues. So this is the financial issues are something that I think people are far too hasty to attack, because when you come in and you tear something down back to its core principles, back to what it was supposed to be to begin with, and you get hundreds of members who we're leading the party astray and we're taking it down horrible roads, and they all leave and stop donating money and stop their membership.
Well, and it was the big donors who was funding those people.
Yeah, you're going to lose money for the short-term future. But then as you build your base back up and you start projecting the principles that the party is supposed to be about, and you start attracting the right group of people who will lead it to the right place, you will be able to make more money on membership in the future for a much longer period of time. And so I think so many people attack our financial issues, and it's friggin' infuriating.
It's also not as bad as like they like to blow it up there. I mean, it might be down, it might be this, it might be that, but also I'll tell you this from talking to people, like the systems to track this stuff, like in the CRM, and I don't know how things get screwed up that bad, but I'm telling you, someone there told me that they thought they found like the CRM was apparently at one point reading out some weird stuff they couldn't figure out because it made them think there was an extra $200,000 sitting around that wasn't there. So I'm
going to stop you right there before we talk about the Libertarian Party's CRM anymore, because I know how boring this gets. Because
I'm just saying, so like, there's
no more CRM talk on this podcast.
I'm just saying I'm just saying, like, knowing a little bit of inside stuff there, like, there's ways that numbers could have that like membership numbers, depending on how you count it, like the CRM's not capable of doing the way memberships actually work, and so that's all just a mess to begin with. But also the convention revenue is like where everything's coming in right now, and that's where the shortfall is, because I don't think they're recognizing convention revenue until after convention. But like anyone who's donating right now is buying packages, buying this, buying that, and that's where kind of this current shortfall comes, is because all the money and stuff is going towards the convention fundraising stuff and not into the regular coffers leading up into convention.
Yeah,
that's my kind of understanding of what's going on some of the back and forth on it, is that like there's money there, but they can't recognize that until the convention happens, and that's why I think that the same issue happened going into Reno. Like you kind of just, your monthly revenue gets moved over to this bucket, and you can't recognize that revenue until the event. So,
gotcha.
More importantly,
go Alden.
My scope reticle is fucked.
Your what?
What'd you do?
It just got dislodged when I was shooting it, and I tried to glue it back in place, but I glued it in wrong. It's all out of focus.
What kind of you glued your reticle in?
It's a fucking pellet gun scope. It's a
okay. I'm like, what kind of cheap ass? I'm like, what kind of cheap ass scope is that?
It's the free piece of shit that comes with your pellet gun.
We're gonna end this topic with a funny tweet from our awesome presidential candidate from 4 years ago, Joe Jorgensen. I didn't have Trump speaking at the Libertarian National Convention on my 2024 bingo card. He hates me because he believes I cost him the presidency. Stop breathing.
So
when we polled my voters afterward, the majority said they wouldn't have voted if I wasn't on the ballot. This is going to be an interesting convention. Do I need security now? Any volunteers? Joe, if you think that Donald Trump even remembers who you are delusional. Like,
that's fair. Yeah.
Crazy.
I fell asleep during you reading that tweet. Who is this?
No, Joe Jorgensen.
I'm so bored that I can't even.
Joe, you don't need security. Half our party wouldn't recognize you.
It's not enough. It's too much for her to actively have security. She's fine passively not having security.
Oh, so good.
Well, one more thing though, people that are so mad about Trump coming out. So let's flip this around the other way. When we had Ron Paul in 2008, when he had the delegates to take the Iowa straw poll, the RNC told him they didn't want him to be the nominee, and he could have kicked the door in and said, "I own this party now, screw you," and he didn't.
Yeah.
And I mean, were people mad he was running as a Republican? No. Did they get mad that he didn't flex his power? So it's just when the tables are turned,
especially
and you've got the libertarian that actually has the opportunity, but he's on the other side. There's no like, oh, well, why does he got to be a Republican?
I agree.
Yeah, well, Ron Paul got taught. Well, not only the Iowa thing, but the actual RNC that year, right? They actually just told his delegates to get out. They don't get to vote.
Yeah,
just like you guys out.
Oh yeah.
And then there was like the funny media that Jon Stewart clip that everyone brings up. In first place, you had Mitt Romney, and then in third place, you've got this, and you've got this in fourth place. And Jon Stewart's like, "Who's second?" Who's second place? Say it. They were pretending that, oh yeah, we just skipped a number here. The second person, and no one.
All right.
Yeah, that was the year that Newt Gingrich and Rick Santorum did him dirty.
If you ain't first, you're last.
That was also the year I quit listening to Sean Hannity.
Exactly right. All right, y'all. Well, it's that time, y'all. Welcome to Libations Trivia. Oh yeah, we got all four people here tonight. Y'all, this is gonna
be the music. I won't play unless we have the music.
Okay, yeah, no. There it is. Zach got it. Zach got it going. Y'all, got news for you. This is the last week for at least 1 week that I'll be hosting trivia. Next week, Zane will be hosting.
Nice.
Are you playing, Jake, or is Zane just?
I will be playing. I will be playing and not hosting trivia. So
he will be losing.
You cannot.
Zane is our Ken Jennings.
Yes, Zane is our Ken Jennings.
Ken Jennings?
What? Jeopardy? It's like the longest running winner on Jeopardy ever.
Oh, I don't know. I just know Alex Trebek.
And now he hosts it, I think.
Does he?
Or at least partially hosts it.
I don't know.
Yeah, he hosts it now.
All right. Well, that's cool. Good for him. All right, y'all. The topics for tonight are this day in history, ending the war, and rabbit with eyes in the middle.
Wait, what's that topic about?
It's literally about rabbit.
My dog was chasing a rabbit this morning.
My dog's killed one like 2 weeks ago.
Well,
murdered it in the park.
Did you guys eat it?
He's getting used to the fenced-in yard, and there was a rabbit out there. Was it this morning or yesterday? It might have been yesterday morning. And she tried to sneak up on it all sneaky. It's in the middle of the yard. It sees her coming a mile away. Then she takes off, and it's just gone. And it's like, well, what'd you think was going to happen? You're fat.
Jake, did you guys eat that rabbit?
So I was going to, but I didn't have it was at the park, and I didn't have a thing to bring it home in. Otherwise, I'd have just been walking down the road with the
dead rabbit.
Dead rabbit. Like skin was off.
It
was bad. And I didn't feel like getting arrested that day. So
this reminds me of the Parks and Rec where Ron's gonna slaughter the pig in the park for the barbecue.
Good one. That's a great one. I'm the head of the parks department. I can do what I want.
Yeah. This is a violation of 19 laws.
Our scoreboard is Zane has won 8 times. Alden's won 4. Audience has won twice. Zach, Nick, and Steve are all bringing up the rear.
Hello, baby.
All right.
The rear's the place to be, man. I don't know.
Round 1. This day in history.
That reveals a lot about you.
Let me remind the audience that you can participate. If you comment before they get it, and I see your comment before they get it, y'all get the point and y'all win. And winners are no longer losers. So that's the prize. All right.
That's good logic.
On this day in 1933, the first sighting of which now legendary creature was made? Zane.
Bigfoot.
No. Steven.
Loch Ness Monster.
Dang it.
Monster.
Damn it, Steven. Good answer.
Job, Steven. I was hoping Zane wouldn't get that. He doesn't deserve that.
Cryptids are supposed to be my territory, but I'll secede to Steven. That's all.
All right. Question number 2.
doesn't even believe in Nessie.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily either, but I knew that.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, the original picture of it looks like a toy.
It is the scale of the ripples on the water.
I mean, yeah, it's literally just like this. It's just that.
If those are waves, then it was like a hurricane that day. It doesn't matter.
All right. On this day in 1945, this is a double question. German troops surrendered to the Russians and the Americans in 2 different countries. What were the two countries? Steven.
Germany and France.
You got Germany correct. You get half a point. Nick.
I'm going to go with England.
Incorrect. Alden.
Can you repeat the question? I did not get that.
You don't have to raise your hand to ask me to repeat the question.
Okay, well, I was also claiming next.
On this day in 1945, German troops surrendered to the Russians and the Americans in different countries. What were the two countries?
Belgium?
Nope. Zane, you got a guess?
Denmark?
No. This is actually an easy question. Y'all are just overthinking this. So back up to the floor. Nick?
Let's go with Russia.
No. Steven?
All right, Switzerland.
No. Alden?
Did we say England?
Yes, and it's no.
Clearly.
We already said Germany, Zach. No.
Ooh.
This is sad. Alden?
Italy.
Italy is the correct answer. Frickin' A. That took forever.
This is the last one left.
There were no other countries in
Argentina.
Oh, right.
Argentina's where they went after the war.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Well, there's something about that later. All right.
Oh.
Question number 3. On this day in 1972, ending a 5-decade era at the FBI, which notable person died? Zane.
J. Edgar Hoover.
I'm
pretty sure I got my hand up first, but
yeah, I was.
You didn't. I watched.
I was
my
hoping
replay, I
did,
was
but I
like
don't
half
think
a second before Zane, but
well, you're
the vacuum guy.
All right. Question number 4. On this day in 1918, General Motors purchases what car brand? Steven.
Chevrolet.
Nice. Is correct. Steven hanging on to his lead.
That's right.
All right. Question number 5. On this day in 1924, after a particularly grisly murder in London, what became standard attire at crime scenes? Alden.
Like gloves? I don't know.
Rubber gloves.
Okay, yeah.
Before that, they didn't wear freaking gloves to crime scenes.
And they were like eating chicken wings and licking their fingers.
This guy murdered his mistress who was going to have his baby and then chopped her up into tiny pieces with a knife.
Yeah, what else do you do?
Cut my life into pieces.
All work and no play makes Jack the Ripper.
Oh, good Lord. Okay. On this day in 1885, what homemaking magazine is first published? Zane.
Better Homes and Gardens.
Incorrect. Nick.
Martha Stewart.
No.
She's aging really well.
Oh, man.
Southern Living.
Incorrect. The audience gets it. It is Good Housekeeping. Boom. Good job, audience.
Is that still in print?
I don't know.
Is anything still in print?
That's a great question. All right. Question number 7. On this day in 2011, Osama bin Laden is reportedly killed by the U.S. forces. How many people were killed in the raid? Alden.
4.
Incorrect. Nick.
6.
No. Steven.
27.
No. Zane, it goes to you, buddy.
1.
Incorrect. Hannah and the audience get it. It is 5.
Oh, what do I don't get
only
the
one
closest.
Including you don't get the
wait.
The audience got it perfect, you doofus.
No.
That includes everyone who died when the one helicopter crashed.
Actually, wait a minute. Osama bin Laden was not killed in that raid, so it's 4.
No, he was killed. Oh.
No, he was killed years before, so it is actually 4, just for future reference.
No. He's actually still alive.
That's my bad. I should rewrite that question.
That's not true.
I'm spreading misinformation at this point in time. So,
do you know about what was her name? There was a president of a country in what do you say? Pakistan.
Yeah, no, we know about this. We've talked.
Okay, yeah.
Show.
I probably have talked about
You
it.
probably have brought it up.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. Question
Never mind.
number 8. On this day in 1889, Menelik II of Ethiopia signed the Treaty of Waikale, Wichale, granting which country territory in northern Ethiopia in exchange for money and weaponry? Nick.
Djibouti.
No. Just looking for an excuse to say that word. Zane.
Italy.
Italy is correct.
Nice.
Yum, man. That is impressive. Brian got second closest. Wakanda.
Wakanda forever.
All right. Question number 9. On this day in 1611, one of the most popular translations of the Bible was first published. What was it? Zane.
The King James.
King James Version is correct. Stephen, you let him take the lead.
I didn't mean to.
I didn't mean to. Good answer.
Question number 10. On this day in 1946, 6 prisoners made an escape attempt which led to 2 full days of violent fighting. In what prison did this occur, Zane?
Alcatraz.
Son of a...
Damn it.
Dadgummit.
Damn it.
I watched the movie.
I did too. Yeah, that's where I got it from. Yeah.
Hannah also got a close second for Azkaban.
That's what was going to be my joke answer. And then I was like, wait, no, I actually know the answer.
She's also gotten the last 2 questions right, but just after y'all did, which is very impressive. All right.
If I remember correctly, Alcatraz is like Spanish for like
Azkaban.
Some other language for bird poop. Because it got its name from like the birds that pooped on the island.
That makes sense. I've seen it. It's full of bird shit. Yeah. It's
go
like white.
I got to go watch the Nick Cage movie now.
Yep.
Yeah. I got to watch that tonight.
Wait, Nick Cage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Rock.
The Rock. Duh.
It was Nick Cage and Sean Connery.
Yes. It was
Sean Connery.
Awesome. I mean, it was awesome and terrible, but it was awesome.
I watched a different movie.
What?
Oh.
Huh?
Yeah, I watched like a Clint Eastwood movie.
Oh, yeah. No, there are multiple movies. I'm just saying there's one about Alcatraz with Nicolas Cage, and Nicolas Cage is the man.
I've never seen it.
After 1 round, Zane is in the lead with 4. Steven has 2.5. Audience has 2.
2.5.
Alden has 1.5, and Nick has 0.
Oh, you don't call me
right,
when I know the answer.
What'd you say?
You don't call me when I know the answer.
Well, all right. Round 2, 2 points each. Ending World War II. Question number 1. What is the supposed date of Hitler's suicide? Zane. Everybody gets a guess. And the closest wins.
6th.
Okay. Alden.
April 11th.
Okay. Steven.
April 20th.
He died on his birthday.
Nick.
Yeah, I see what you did.
May 15th.
Breaking the April trend.
The closest is
Steven or Nick.
Audrey guessed 12th. Hannah guessed 18th. Hannah, you don't get 2 guesses on number ones. It is Steven who gets this one correct.
Nice.
April 30th,
it's 420 wins it. Nice.
Question number 2. Yeah, Hannah. Hannah guessed 3 times, 18, 27, and 30.
Don't spam numbers.
I should have just Price's righted Steven and just went,
you should
went above him. And
Yeah.
I was trying to be nice and not be that guy, but I should
Poor
have been that guy.
strategy, Nick. Poor strategy. All right. Question number 2. What was the code name for the Allied invasion of Okinawa, which began on April 1st, 1945? Alden.
Coconuts.
No. It's not coconut.
It was a good guess, though, right?
I will give a hint after everybody guesses. Steven.
The hint is coconuts.
No. Zane, Nick.
Teriyaki chicken.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
Zane.
Jackie
Operation Crown.
No. So the hint is, think everybody's gonna guess it immediately. Think Titanic. Alden.
Iceberg.
Operation Iceberg. It's
Nice. Operation Heart of the Ocean and Enya.
Anna says Operation Crazy Guys. Operation Sushi Roll.
Sushi roll? Sushi's in the Titanic?
What? No, these were prior to the Titanic end. Yeah. All right. Question number 3. Which German city was the target of the Allies' controversial firebombing raids in February 1945, resulting in significant civilian casualties? Nick.
Dresden.
Dresden is correct. Bravo. I've been to Dresden. That place is beautiful. They rebuilt it well. All right.
But it's no Orlando, you know.
It's no Orlando. All right. Question number 4. What was the name of the battle that marked the final major German offensive campaign on the Western Front? Zane.
Alden's gonna really like this one because it's the Battle of the Bulge.
It is Battle of the Bulge.
Why?
Something Macron's wife deals with every day.
Oh man, I thought it was gonna be something like 9/11 related or something, but like
no, we just know you like sexual innuendo.
Yeah,
I
have
do.
the bulge.
I'll
I'll stick to the rear.
That's it. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. No, it's fair. It's fair. I'll own it.
All right. Question number 5. Final question of round 2. Which Allied city was the site of the German surrender in Europe, marking the end of World War II in Europe? Alden.
Nuremberg?
Nope. Zane.
Potsdam?
Nope. Steven, did you guess?
No.
Okay. Nick.
Berlin.
No. Steven.
London?
No. It is so it's a town in France, and it's one that you maybe you've never heard of. Alden, Steven, then Zane.
I've never heard of it. I don't know. I was gonna say Versailles.
No. Steven.
Oh shit.
Audrey is incorrect that it starts with A. And Hannah is incorrect that it's Bern. What'd you say?
Paris.
Bern.
No. Zane.
Did you say pickles? Pickles France.
I said Paris.
Trying to think
Oh
of
my
weird
God.
French towns.
I'm so sorry. I heard pickles, which was hilarious to me. But
Zane?
Lyon.
No. Nick, you get a guess, and then I'll give you another.
just make up French sounds.
Yeah, no, I'm going to give an idiotic hint.
Did we just say Paris?
We already said Paris.
We already said pickles. Yeah.
Shit. What region of France?
I'm not giving you any more hints.
Then we'll just go with Nice. I don't know if that's been said.
Incorrect. That's a great guess. Actually,
It's nephew.
freaking audience got it. Reims, France.
That's not a French town.
That's a French town.
God.
How do you pronounce it though?
I don't know. I was gonna say think.
Yeah, it's probably yeah.
Yeah.
My hint was gonna be think of a package of paper. A ream of paper.
But that's if it's pronounced Reims. We don't know.
Yeah, it's probably oh,
Yeah.
you just got to sound like a frog.
Oh, pronounce it like our dog. Her dog's name is Remy.
Oh, I thought she was saying like her dog throwing up like.
Matt got it because of soccer.
Nice.
Yeah, it's very impressive. All right. Final
Trivia
question.
just reinforces that we're terrible people.
After 2 rounds, Zane has 6, audience has 4, Steven has 4.5, Alden has 3.5, Nick has 2. Wait, what the frick?
What?
Oh. Zane? There we go.
What?
That was so funny. Zane was still on the screen, but he also popped into the green room.
It was very odd. So like all of you guys froze up, but I could still hear the music. I'm like, what is going on right now?
Is your Starlink bugging out like Jake's was?
What? He didn't have
My internet cut out for like 5 seconds. I was like, no, not doing trivia. Then it popped back.
All right. Round number 3. It's rabbits, not wine. It's just about rabbits, yo. Question number 1. What is the term for a group of rabbits? Zane. There are 2 terms. You can guess either one.
A warren.
Holy mother.
Wow. Elizabeth Warren is named after a group of rabbits? I didn't know.
No, she's named after Indians.
What was her percentage? Like point, like a decimal something?
It was
or
like
1.1
and
It was
1024th, I think.
I much prefer Hannah's answer, a sloshmoggle.
I thought. Wait, I was gonna say. So you said there was two. I thought it was a fluffle.
Oh gosh, that'd be the cutest.
Why
term.
can't we call everything either a parliament like owls or a murder like crows?
Because those
Murder parliament? Are you trying to code dog whistle to murder parliament? Right?
Yeah.
Oh, Grumpy says she was 1064th Indian.
I am so much more than that. That's crazy.
Yeah,
we're all more closely related to Genghis Khan than she is an actual.
Yeah.
She was so proud of it. It was hilarious.
Oh my god. I'm probably more related to Jesus Christ than that.
I think that's physically impossible.
No, you think it's physically impossible.
Well, unless you're the Merovingian kings of France, because that's what they claimed.
Oh,
if you believe he never had kids,
I love this tangent, but I'm going to shut it down.
Well, everyone's basically descended from Charlemagne, unless you believe he wasn't real and those 300 years were just made up, like some claim.
I think I have a more than 1,000.
How can I mute everybody at the same time? Oh my gosh. Okay. Question number 2. What is the name of the largest rabbit breed known for its distinctive long ears and large size? Nick.
It's the Flemish giant rabbits.
It is the Flemish giant rabbits.
Nice.
I'm so angry at you for getting that right because it robbed me of my opportunity to say Big Chungus.
Dude, those Flemish giants are fucking dog-sized.
I was gonna say Bugs Bunny.
The Easter Bunny.
The Easter Bunny? Oh my god! Yeah.
The real answer is the rabbit from Donnie Darko.
Oh my!
Yeah. Yes! Oh my god!
God, that's a good movie.
I was gonna mention a terrifying rabbit that's human-sized, and that is it.
Yeah, I need to rewatch that movie to see if it still holds up.
Dude, it's pretty good, honestly.
I remember thinking it was awesome.
The director's cut or whatever, though.
That's all I have. I bought this, back when it first came out when I was in like high school.
Mm-hmm. I still think about that movie like once a month.
Yeah, I think about it all the time, and I haven't seen it since high school. How crazy is that?
You haven't seen it since high school?
Since high school, I've not.
You got to get high and get on that.
Deal.
You got to get on that in whatever state of mind you want to be.
You're twisting his arm.
All right. Question number 3. Final question. Who can still win this thing?
Me.
No one.
No one can win.
Everybody can get second place, though. So it's a fight for second place. Zane, you can get to answer this question. What is the term for the soft wool-like fur found on certain breeds of rabbits? Alden.
Lanolin.
No, it is. You are not or Burgundy, whatever.
Ron Burgundy.
Ron Burgundy. Dadgum.
Lanolin, like sheep's wool.
Anybody? You've heard of it? They make very expensive coats and stuff out of those. Nick.
Fluffies.
No. No. Steven, you get a guess, buddy.
I got nothing.
Casimir is incorrect from the audience. Incorrect. All right, back over to the floor, except for Zane. Zane, you're not in on this. Alden.
Bugsmere.
What? If they don't get it after this round, Zane, you can guess. Nick, you got a guess?
Pass.
It's called pass. Yeah, that's what it's called.
Velour.
No, I like that guess though. All right, Zane, what do you got?
I love how you think I would actually had a real answer because I was
Doesn't
just
matter. Audience got it. Audience gets
wow.
Nice. Well done.
Yeah, I'd have never gotten that.
Good job, Elizabeth.
I would have thought that was a made-up answer.
No, Angora fur. It's
never heard of it.
I thought that was a specific breed of rabbit or something, not just the soft fluff.
All right, everybody. Thank you for playing Libations Trivia. We're going to move on to our...
Nick's room looks like the bathroom in The Shining.
It kind of
you want me to have red rum painted on the wall for next week?
Yes.
I really want you to have red rum.
And have a racist butler behind you for the whole show.
Nick's room looks like the cube from the Hotline Bling video.
All right.
Nick's room looks like the inside of the womb when someone put a flashlight on it.
Goodness gracious.
How long can we keep
I mean,
working on this?
I mean, I could go change the color if you want. I just thought that like a reddish orange was a good start.
It's a reddish orange is a great start. Let's stop talking about Nick's room. For those audience members still sticking around, we are going to go through some more topics, and later on we're going to have our drunkard of the week, which is actually a drunkard duo of the week. We have hero and a villain in the exact same video.
In the same video.
Thanks to my brother who sent it to me. So yeah, our next topic of the night is Roger Ver's arrested in Spain at the behest of the IRS.
I love the word behest.
Yeah, that's why I put it in there. I love that word.
Yeah.
All right, so he's indicted for tax fraud.
I love the word fraud.
Let me just break down exactly what happened. So this guy was an early investor into Bitcoin. Okay, he was investing in Bitcoin since like 2011.
He's a terrorist.
He was super early.
Super early. Had tens of thousands of Bitcoins. Sold them for I think $216 million around 2017. But in 2014, he renounced his U.S. citizenship and moved to dadgummit. What was the dadgum place that he moved to? It's not
Ethiopia.
It's not Turks and Caicos, but it's one of those. Hang on, it's in this. It's in this.
The Virgin Islands? No, that's still U.S. territory.
Where is he now?
Trinidad.
St. Kitts.
St. Kitts. There it is. Yeah, St. Kitts. So he renounced his U.S. citizenship, got completely off of being a United States citizen. 3 years later, sells his Bitcoin for $216 million. And in the year 2024, the IRS has him arrested for tax fraud for selling those Bitcoin without paying capital gains.
That's crazy.
It is wild. They haven't extradited him yet. They're seeking extradition. He's still in Spain. But it is the overreach and authoritarianism of the IRS is, it's astounding.
Even according to the IRS, is there officially like a statute of limitations on like how long it takes to cash in assets like after you've renounced citizenship?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
I think the
tax code is over 9,000 pages long. So like, how is anyone supposed to know?
Go fish, I don't know.
Part of what this is that I think they're trying to say, well, we didn't know he had that much Bitcoin because he didn't tell us that because I think the article mentions that he had a law firm, which means he was going through lawyers to make sure lawyers and accountants to make sure everything he was doing was above board.
Did he leave to do this?
I mean, it took him 3 years to sell it.
He was leaving them. He renounced his citizenship to make a point and be like, screw you guys. I'm not paying you money on this.
Yeah.
Well, he's a hero.
He's a hero.
Yeah, I mean, if I knew I was sitting on 200 something billion, yes, I would renounce my citizenship before I cashed it in.
That's the thing. It wasn't 200 something million when he renounced his citizenship.
That's what I was going to say is the appreciation.
Far less than that. Like
over 3 years. Yeah.
It was
at that time,
100 times less than that or 200 times. Like it was far less.
It was probably at least
it's the same concept that like California's trying to do. So Californians will move to Texas.
Right.
And California's trying to like hit them for an exit tax.
Basically. No, they're trying to make them pay tax for 10 additional years.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me?
My buddy, Jay, the guy that made the first documentary about, he has a business in California. And if that law gets passed, just before it gets passed, he is going to exit California.
Yes, he should.
Because
that's the problem. They'll try some crazy bullshit like like that minimum wage increase for
San Francisco
for fast food that they just put through, that $20 an hour.
20 for fast food?
It was $20 an hour, except if you make your own bread on site before the bill was introduced.
Oh, that's right. And someone had said that
Panera Bread.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
His friends
Newsom's buddy.
With Newsom.
It's like,
yes.
how do you go? How are you so blatant? Like,
then we should really define what bread is, because that's not bread.
Like, why don't you just say it applies to everyone except this guy that's my friend because
my buddy over here. Yeah,
because you literally wrote it into law, something that barely anyone's doing, and you're like, yep, you can't get up before this happens and start doing it. It has to.
My favorite part of that is that it illustrates that they know that the law is stupid and has bad effects.
Yeah,
it's like I kind of just expect politicians to be corrupt, and it's like because that's what politicians do. So if it's just that we're gonna tax you because we feel like it, so give us some money, I could live with that way better than a government that says we're gonna pass laws that control all the elements of your life because we know better than you how you should live. Except that we also know that's bad because we're not imposing it on ourselves and our friends. I just want somebody to be honest enough and say, I'm robbing from you. Yeah. And then I can be like, okay, fine, I guess I'll just...
This is why people preferred the Mafia, right? Pay us some money and you're gonna get protection, or you're gonna need new kneecaps.
The way around this is just McDonald's, if you're listening. Make your own bread every day.
No. The law said you had to do it before it was introduced.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, they literally drew the line and you're too late by the time we put it in there.
Because Subway bakes their own bread, but they
heat dough logs. They don't.
But they make it off-site. Alden, you got angry at us for being all technical last week, so you shut your mouth.
What do you think Olive Garden does?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Microwave.
But I'm saying,
right.
They're not fast food, though.
Yeah, they're not fast food.
No. They use the microwave very slowly. They turn the power down.
Panera Bread's not fast food.
It falls into the fast casual because you can have a drive-through with Panera.
Oh, is this about Panera? I thought someone said Olive Garden.
No, it's Panera Bread.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Panera makes all their own bread in-house.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I
thought someone said something about Olive Garden. Maybe I just made that.
And their fatal lemonades as well.
What? Fetal lemonades?
Fatal. They have this super caffeinated lemonade that it's got 300 milligrams of caffeine in a 12-ounce lemonade.
Oh right. The Four Loko.
Freaking heart attack after drinking one a few months ago.
That's 5 shots of espresso.
Yeah.
Yeah, people were having heart attacks and shit after drinking that.
It's the new Four Loko. You get that and put a couple of vodka shots in it, you're ready to party.
Yeah. The Four Loko was awesome.
3 days.
That pissed me off so much when because freshman year of college, Four Lokos were all the rage, and then the band came in, and they're like, "No, you can't have caffeine and alcohol at the same time. You have to drink them separately."
Jake, do you remember the year we were at Oglethorpe Dorm in Savannah, and right in front of the dorm, the cops pulled someone over, and they got out of the car and ting 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 ting, and 8 Four Loko cans
came spilling out of the car. This was back when Four Loko was the thing.
It was the last year that it was legal or something.
Close. They opened the door and just a pile of Four Lokos spilled out that were.
It was ridiculous.
I remember right when the band went into place, a bunch of guys went out to the store and just bought cases and cases of Four Lokos and just had those sitting around it. We had that weekend was just pounding Four Lokos and
there was Social Club used to sell Red Bull vodka slushies.
Ooh, that actually was good.
Delight. I remember waking up so many times on the beach and not remembering how I got there.
Waking up, and being like, I guess I'll drive a 2-wheeled vehicle home. No worries.
Somebody had taken me there. I did not drive.
My kryptonite was Sparks energy drink. It was 6% alcohol.
Wow.
But it was an energy drink as well. And there was a bar that would, you have that.
Idea.
You pour a vodka shot, orange vodka, top it off a blue carousel, and they called the shot a Gator Hater. That shot, you drop it down in the energy drink, which is orange.
Oh, right.
And it's the orange and blue.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah,
I like a good
Victory Sandwich Bar in Atlanta has Jack and Coke slushies.
Nice.
And
I would do that.
Phenomenal sandwiches. So good. Highly recommend Victory Sandwich Bar in Decatur.
Okay.
It's unbelievable.
That's where it's great.
I like a good Jaeger bomb every once in a while.
It's greater in Decatur.
That's right.
I love that you're allowed to sell Jaeger and whatever, Red Bull, and in combination at a bar, you can mix them yourself, and it's the same thing as Four Loko in terms of guarine and caffeine and alcohol and whatever. But you can't sell the product in one can.
Well, no, it totally makes sense. As does, arresting somebody for selling a bunch of digital currency that they had 3 years
prior. Yeah,
renounced his citizenship.
Right. Anyway, even though Roger Ver was completely wrong and led everyone down the wrong path with Bitcoin Cash,
he did.
This is stupid, and this needs to end on him right now. Spain needs to not extradite, but remember, who else died in Spain awaiting extradition?
Oh, was that John McAfee?
John McAfee.
There we go.
Yeah.
He didn't kill himself.
Oh, he did not.
He specifically said that he never.
I would be very careful about getting extradited from Spain there, because there's a bad history.
Gosh, I hope he makes it through, man, because this is crazy.
So just a couple more things on this, which is, first of all, regardless of what the tax law was dictating whether or how much capital gains tax he really owes, you can't even fault him even if he attempted to pay the correct amount and did not, because it's a typical IRS behavior where they make it so complicated that even if you try to comply, you still usually can't, and they can still claim that you broke the law. Because my job deals with pensions, and the regular pension plans are highly regulated with the IRS, and we have training sessions routinely where somebody points out there are all these rules about this certain aspect of a pension plan. The IRS refuses to clarify what they mean. Nobody knows what they mean, and when we ask the IRS what they mean, they refuse to answer.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what it means.
It sounds like the IRS.
Look,
because they want to stay vague.
This is what happens. This is what happens with all of government. They make a law and it never gets retracted, and then 20 years later, they'll make a law that directly contradicts the other law, but no one knows it existed because it's 1,000 pages of documents. It's impossible for us to follow the law, but when they want to target somebody, they can go search through thousands of pages of laws to see if you broke any of those. So
what's that?
But then they'll ignore the mostly peaceful riots of 2020, right? This is the whole anarcho-tyranny concept, right? We're going to crack down on the people who are trying to do right, but they can't follow all of our laws to the point that the average person commits 3 felonies a day without knowing it.
I thought it was wasn't it 7 felonies a day?
Nah, it's at least 3. Whatever.
At least 3, I think. I was going to mention.
If you're really living right, though.
The same thing.
Yeah, 7's probably a better way of living. But
what's the name of that book that's a covers
3 felonies
I think it's 3 felonies a day.
Is that what it? Yeah.
Okay. I was definitely wrong.
So
the title's 3 felonies. Isn't it 7 though?
It's actually 7.
That's my bad.
Well, it doesn't matter because you're committing felonies all the time, and
sometimes knowingly.
No, sometimes not, but sometimes not, and then seize college campuses, seize college administrative buildings, and barricade yourself in there, whatever else. Yeah, whatever.
Well, yeah, half of those protesters that were arrested, they were rounded up at what do we got? Like UCLA, Yale, Stanford. Over half the protesters that were arrested there were not even students. They didn't even live in that town.
Nah, it was
they were from somewhere else.
They were Soros stooges.
Yeah,
which is what you always find on that. That's what you saw in Kenosha and most of these other places.
It was the case of Stanford. They were actual Hamas with the headband and everything, just hanging out.
One. Although that kind of be a funny troll to do.
That would be troll.
Well, no, there was a couple of them that the FBI confirmed. We're looking for that guy. Thank you.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's fun.
See, I was thinking, that's actually kind of a funny troll, but
yeah.
All right. Does anybody have anything else to say about this?
So the capital gains. He could reinvest that, right? If he could prove he reinvested that, then the 35% goes down to 10.
No, it's very true. It actually goes down to 0 if you reinvest it.
Yeah.
That's how we did it. That's how we sold a rental property and bought a new property, turned it into a rental, and didn't have to pay any taxes on it.
Sweet.
It was the whole thing.
Zane, what were you going to say?
Yes, I did. What I was talking about earlier about just robbers versus the government and why robbers are actually preferable. I did find this quote of Lysander Spooner where he says, "The highwayman takes solely upon himself the responsibility, danger, and crime of his own act. He does not pretend that he has any rightful claim to your money or that he intends to use it for your own benefit. He does not pretend to be anything but a robber. Furthermore, having taken your money, he leaves you as you wish him to do. He does not persist in following you on the road against your will, assuming to be your rightful sovereign on account of the protection he affords you."
Wow.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Lysander Spooner.
Gotta love Spooner.
Yeah. Well, I worked with a guy that one time did get robbed multiple times in the same day.
Well, that just means
So
you gotta
he did get followed by the robber.
Did he get robbed, then go to an ATM, then get robbed again? Like, what was he doing?
Well, he was surveying down in Miami, and he was back in the woods. He's about 1,000 feet from the truck. He comes out, back windows are busted out.
Okay.
So like the back seat windows, they're busted out, and the equipment that he was not using was stolen from the back seat.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, what the hell?" So then he drives it over to a nearby shop, and drops it off at the shop, tells them what's going on. I'm like, okay, cool, we got it from here. And the shop has a parking lot that's fenced in. And he goes to get a sandwich next door, get some lunch while he's waiting, comes back, and then he notices like the big rear window of the truck is now busted out in the parking lot of the shop. And he's like, screw this, give me the keys. Drives from Miami back to McDonough with busted out windows. He's like, I'm getting the hell out of this town. Screw this.
Gosh, I really wish he got robbed when he parked.
I'd have to imagine that that surveying equipment coming out of the back of the truck is probably not easy to get rid of.
Yeah.
You mean
It's so common down in Miami though. And it's literally a GPS unit. Like you think it can't be tracked.
Oh, that's
Yeah, well, also, but like you're talking about specialty industrial equipment that probably costs a ton of money.
Well, yeah,
Any pawn shop's gonna go, where did you get this?
Yeah, your average Garmin from Dick's, will get you within like 30 feet, right?
Just like
but, this is like sub-millimeter precision.
Just like we were.
You say 30 foot dicks?
That's right.
My previous job,
that bulge.
we did like solar powered equipment on the side of railroad tracks, and
well, that stuff's gonna get stolen.
well, yeah, that's the thing is that you'd have like in the backwoods, West Virginia, you'd have guys just ride down and swipe solar panel batteries out, cut locks and grab them. But even in Pittsburgh, where some of the equipment was, like the solar panels kept going away, disappearing. And our one service guy who was out with Norfolk Southern was like, why don't you go down there to that scrapyard and ask them if they've seen any solar panels come in? Mm-hmm. Guess what? They did. They knew exactly who it came.
Oh man, I remember
complex stuff here.
When 2008 happened. The housing market was collapsed. There were entire subdivisions like around Coweta, all around southern metro Atlanta. But this is specifically in Clayton County, the one I'm talking about. You go in there, it was a whole neighborhood. The roads were cut in, the curb was poured, everything was ready. They just didn't actually build any of the houses.
Mm-hmm.
And then, months and months and months of this thing just sitting. And you go in there one day and all the sewer manhole lids are gone.
Oh, dude, that's like the place on, what's that island in the river on Savannah?
Tybee?
No. In the river right by the city that we would go, Hutchinson Island or something.
Island. Yeah.
We went over there. There was a place. So this was in 2011. There was a subdivision that was unfinished. They had almost like the Arrested Development, like couple of model homes like at the front, and then like the rest was empty. And we used to drive over there, and there was like 6 foot tall grass up in there. And we used to remember that time we freaked the girls out and we jumped out of the car and we were banging on the window. Anyway, we were assholes, but we would drive over there all the time. And one time I was like, holy shit, all the manholes were gone. And I was just doing slaloms through there, just donuts and crazy shit. I was 20 years old. And I am so lucky that I didn't get a tire in a manhole. Yeah, because someone came and stole all of them. So anyway.
Well, that's also when I found out, because I was talking to a guy at a junkyard, and I asked him about that. I was like, hey, sewer manhole lids. He's like, yeah. He goes, that kind of stuff will get you flagged pretty quick. You come up in here, telling me you got 4 tons of steel to recycle. And
it's all municipal. Yeah.
Well, melt that stuff down at home and then just put it into a block and then go sell it.
There you go.
You have a crucible at home that can melt iron.
If you yes, probably.
Okay.
Even some of that stuff gets wild. Like I was.
No. We're done.
No, this is a good story. This is a good story. This is a good story.
No.
So we had this. I worked with this machine shop that we they had they were doing specialty work, or we're gonna do some specialty work for some
man's
company.
holes.
And so they had this giant block of some sort of titanium alloy that was delivered and just left there, just abandoned there. And the owner of it was telling me, he's like, yeah, I wanted to get rid of this thing because I know it's worth money and I literally can't get a hold of anyone to take it out. Called a couple of scrap yards. Next thing I know, the feds are calling me, asking me how I got this and what I'm doing with it.
Jeez. Interesting.
Well,
I'd like y'all to know that since we started talking about manhole covers, over half of our audience has stopped watching. So congrats, everybody.
Oh, well, I've got a really great story about the LP CRM that I'm going to tell.
Does it involve manholes?
We're moving on. Saudi Arabia shrinks the line. All right. Sorry, Zach. All right. So for those who don't know, the line is this idiotic, stupid idea that someone had in Saudi Arabia.
I'm glad you clarified that it was stupid and idiotic, because otherwise I'm not sure I could have told that.
Crown Prince Bonesaw, that was his idea.
It's supposed to be 1,500 miles or 150 miles?
150 miles of a straight line.
150 miles of a straight line in the middle.
All lines are straight. You don't have to specify.
Shut up, Zane.
That's not true.
Have
a line, by definition, a line is straight.
Okay. Well, no, a line that long, you would.
No, everyone's muted. Y'all can all shut up now. Okay. So this line.
I can unmute.
No, how? Dadgummit.
Oh, it's that easy.
What? Dadgummit, how could I not permanently mute people? Oh, no, I know what I can do. There we go. Okay, now everybody just gets to watch from the sidelines while I rant for a second. This thing was supposed to be 150 miles long. It was supposed to be some idiotic green initiative where everybody lives within 10 minutes of all the shops they could possibly ever want and all the food they could possibly ever want. It was going to have indoor gardens. It was going to have rooftop gardens. It was going to have all these dumb things. And you could go from one end to the other on a high-speed train. None of that's happening. They shrunk it down from 150 miles to 1.5 miles. And now I'll let everybody back in to comment on things if you so choose.
I can't believe when you were listing out all the dumb things, you didn't call out the guy randomly playing the saxophone in the middle of the ocean.
That guy
you don't do that?
Saxophone is awesome. Don't do that.
Well, I just want to say that, as far as these green initiatives go, these futuristic mega cities, 15-minute cities, they're definitely getting out of line.
I actually know a guy who's a cinematographer who worked on a documentary about the line and went to it and filmed the construction of it. He said it was crazy.
Why wouldn't they build a ring?
Why would they do any of this? It's in the middle of the freaking desert.
Why do you build anything in the desert? Yeah.
Great question.
Well, Saudi Arabia thinks if they just build a bunch of garbage things that they're going to be able to keep up their economic productivity as
you mean like China?
Transition away from fossil fuels. Yeah, it's like complete fiat economics here that just make no sense. Like we're going to do a whole bunch of stuff with no value just because we can. Like you look and they want to build, the Jeddah Tower, which is supposed to be the tallest building in the world, and that shrunk down to not the tallest building in the world. Now the line was supposed to be the longest building in the world, and it's not. Maybe it will be the longest, but it's a tenth of the size. You know what? 1% of the size it was supposed to be, or something. So
Will it's a grower, not a shower.
It's a grower, not a shower.
And then,
I mean, it's all to attract tourism, you know. But then people get there and they realize, oh, if I have tattoos, if I'm gay, if I want to give people a handshake, if I want to look a woman in the eyes while I'm walking down the road, this isn't.
I want to have a
libation. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you're not even allowed to walk into in the Mecca.
Jeez.
Like, you can't.
Why? Like, what? Who would this attract to live? Like, who would want to go live there? I don't understand what clientele they're hoping to like get from this, because I can't imagine anybody from the Western world moving there.
Flat Stanley.
Well, you know, to bring it down to this magnitude, to bring it down to this price range, you know, your average Saudi prince could probably just fork this out as a show of generosity.
Yeah.
You know, which is, you know, kind of their religious charge. They do have to give a certain amount, and you know, it's preferred they give it to other Muslims before they give it to anybody else. And I was just reading one of these papers too about the OIC. They just issued their 2025 action plan, and they were talking about most of the Muslim nations, which I think there's 52 of them right now. You know, the average person living there is living on like the equivalent of $1.20 a day, and their initiative is like over the next 10 years to double that standard of living. Which, I mean, doesn't sound like a lot, but that's really a huge endeavor to double someone's standard of living within a decade.
Did you see that giant hotel that they also built in Mecca? Like it's absurd. Just it's like right next to the giant mosque there. They built a massive hotel. Like, it's just nothing but these massive fiat projects.
Yeah, it's exactly what China does. They have massive ghost towns full of nobody. It makes no sense. They're just trying to look productive and hope somebody might come and live there. Like, yeah.
Don't they have enough people? It's
recipe for disaster. What?
Don't they have enough people?
No.
China doesn't have enough people.
They don't have enough people to fill double what their population is. Like, they're building entire cities.
And it's just to keep the construction industry moving.
China's about to go through a demographic wipeout worse than the
they're
West.
Age-wise, I know that they're like top heavy as far as age goes. Like,
yeah, the one-child policy really. You try to central plan that stuff, and it does not work out well.
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
By the time they realize that they were
going to keep building, otherwise they have to acknowledge their economy shrinking.
That's the hotel.
I know, 10, 12 years ago, rebar was cheaper than cabbage over there in China.
Oh,
and believe it or not, that's one of the things Obama actually did for us. The American Recovery Reinvestment Act or whatever.
Yeah.
We're only allowed to buy domestically produced rebar for our construction. So like we can't import cheap. Yeah, most of it's slag anyways. You don't want it in a building. It wouldn't last.
That's so expensive, man. Yeah. Expensive it is. All right.
I want cheap rebar to do a home project that I don't care that much about. I mean,
yeah, that's what I want. Here we go.
Steel from 9/11 was sold to China at a 50-year steel low price. Just saying.
Thanks. What fire sale?
Thanks for that tidbit. Oh my.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, y'all. It's time.
I am not fucking drunk.
Well, 19th or blue.
Every pretty girl deserves to go to a ball.
This is everything about it's a clam. I love it.
I gotta be honest with you, I feel like I'm a little bit too drunk to stand up.
On Wiedersehen, asshole.
I'm drunk right now.
All right. Welcome to our drunkard of the week. Tonight you get a double. We normally do a hero or a villain, or now we're changing it to hero or a clown because it just makes more sense. So tonight is a double. We have a hero and a clown all in one video.
Double feature.
And it's happening in Canada. So enjoy.
Mr. Speaker, it is a choice for him to implement extremist policies that have taken the lives of 2,500 British Columbians every single year. Since the NDP has asked him to reverse course on his and formerly their radical policy, 22 British Columbians have died of drug overdoses. But he continues to allow those drugs to kill the people in our hospitals and on our public transit. When will we put an end to this wacko policy by this wacko Prime Minister?
Oh, there we go.
No. That is not. There are a couple of things which are going on here today, which is not acceptable. And I ask all members, please, to keep themselves, to control themselves. I'm going to ask two things.
Bro. That is
One,
sick.
I'm going to ask the Honourable Leader of the Opposition to withdraw that term, which is not considered parliamentary.
Mr. Speaker, I replace wacko with extremist. He is an
The Honourable Member to please. I'm going to ask the Leader of the Opposition once again to just withdraw that comment, please. And I'll invite the Honourable Member.
The term is the comment.
Yep.
I'm going to ask the Honourable Leader of the Opposition to please withdraw that comment and simply withdraw that comment.
Honor this. Biatch. That's what I would say.
I'll replace it with radical Baptist policy.
I am not asking to replace. I'm asking the Honourable Member to just simply withdraw.
What even is this?
It's idiotic.
Mr. Speaker, I replace the word wacko with extremist.
Yes.
I'm getting some real Kermit the Frog vibes from this guy.
To please withdraw that comment and simply withdraw that comment.
I simply withdraw and replace with the aforementioned adjective.
This is a stalemate. This is crazy.
I have to name you for disregarding the authority of the chair. Pursuant to the authority granted to me by Standing Order 11, I order you to withdraw from the House and from any participation by video conference for the remainder of this day's sitting.
We want to be free to do what we want to do. Yeah. We want to get loaded. Yeah. And we want to have a good time.
If Kermit the Frog and Gus Fring had like a stuffy baby, that would be this guy.
Who was that on the hero side? Was that
Pierre Poliver? Dude's awesome.
Yeah, he's a good one, isn't he?
He's he's got some negatives, but for the most part, he's pretty fantastic, and he at least says it how it is.
One of the names I've heard, and what is it? Maxime Bernier? Was it something like that? I think.
I don't know. I've pretty much just been following him in Canada.
He's not the hero we deserve, but he's the one we
like. Who's that guy? Chris Sky is another cool dude.
Okay.
It looks like he's had some Botox in his face. It's kind of hard to watch him speak.
Okay, that's great.
But otherwise, he's a great dude.
Wacko is too far, but Nazi wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was someone commenting in the background, like somebody shouted out, "Well, they call us white supremacists," and that's a great point, which is that leftists will use the rules whenever it fits them.
Yep.
But then they'll just disregard the rules whenever it doesn't fit them. Conservatives are usually don't have enough backbone to stand up and point it out when it's happening.
Yeah, so it's good on him for basically making a. He shouldn't have been withdrawing. He should have just said, "Yeah, screw you. I'm going to stick with it."
Yeah, I mean, I think
or he should have doubled down.
Withdraw this and then throw your shoe at it.
Yeah, like he withdrew and went slightly less crazy. Like you either just stand there and say, "Nah, I'm sticking with that," or you double down and you start going even crazier names.
Yeah, I wish if he'd have gone just worse.
Yeah, a step up,
awesome.
like Fidel Jr.
Or hey, I order you to withdraw, and you can respectfully decline.
There we go.
With all due respect.
I respectfully decline withdrawal of that statement.
So he's challenging Trudeau for the prime minister position. That's going to be the guy Trudeau's going to run against. He's awesome. There's some great interviews with him. One, he's just in some cornfield or something with some reporter, and he's just gnawing on an apple, answering this reporter's idiotic
gnawing on an apple in a cornfield.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if they were in a
They
cornfield.
have apples and cornfields in Canada.
It may have been an apple orchard. I don't know. But yeah, he's chewing on an apple and just answering this, just like demolishing this poor reporter for not doing any research, for not actually having any references, for not knowing anything about what he's questioning him about. It's
well, to be fair, corporate journalists are hacks. So
yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. In Canada, they need somebody, just somebody with a spine. You know,
he has a spine.
It could even be another socialist, but as long as it's another socialist that actually loves his country. Because I mean, as far as the currency goes, the loonies in the tubes right now, man.
Wait, what?
I mean, a U.S. dollar.
Brian says, "Are we going to talk about Drew Barrymore calling Kamala Harris Mamala?"
I didn't see it, but I don't want to know about that.
Is it Mamala or Mamala?
Or Mammalia?
Yeah, that's the problem with the parliamentary system is that Trudeau's not elected by anyone except his local district, and then his party just keeps sticking him up there. I mean, that's why this is why the parliamentary system is wacky.
It's wacko.
It's wacko.
It's radical.
Yeah.
It's extremist, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you get a party cemented in there, whether it be Trudeau's, the Trudeau whack jobs or we've done good avoiding Israel, but Likud or
here's the quote. Here's the quote. This is Drew Barrymore. I keep thinking in my head that we all need a mom. I've been thinking that all we need a tremendous hug in the world right now, Barrymore told Harris. But in our country, we need you to be Mamala of the country. Oh my God.
Wow.
That is so sad.
So she's gone from leaving out Reese's Pieces for E.T. to Mamala.
Mamala.
We can sum up her entire career in that span there.
Oh, man, that is so painful.
And then she's
says all that.
Let's just
Alden to withdraw that.
Let's just never forget how much of a cop Kamala Harris is.
Seriously.
Yes.
And
what Binkley said too, she was tied in with those the Freemasons that were talking about they were part of the Masonic Order of Police.
What?
Yeah, you remember when Binkley was on the show that one time? He brought that up, that there was guys actually flashing like a fake badge. I'm with the Masonic Fraternal Order of Police or something like that. Like we have jurisdictional rights that predate your country. You need to give us all your records, and this is around LA and stuff. And Kamala was tied to these people before she became DA out there.
Wow, more like Coppola, am I right?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next topic. Let's put it up there, Zach. Here we go. This is from Tim Pool.
Of Gaza has begun. And of course, the Biden administration is not classifying it that way. But thanks to our own eyes, but I'll give credit absolutely to Matt Gaetz for his questioning of Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin. We know that this is just an invasion of Gaza. The IDF has moved into Gaza already. The U.S. is constructing a pier off the coast, which will soon connect to the ground where U.S. troops will be stationed. Lloyd Austin, testifying to Matt Gaetz, said it is likely that U.S. troops will be fired upon, fire back, and engage in combat, likely with Hamas in this area. I don't know what else you call this other than boots on the ground and an invasion of Gaza. One that no one agreed to, has no authorization, but surprise, surprise, this is what the U.S. does. It's why I like Donald Trump. No new wars. You can say it a million times. And here we are now.
Yeah.
What else
I know a bunch of guys that would be itching at the opportunity to go back, if they were actually given those kinds of orders, because, the typical Hamas soldier is the kind of guy that's actually fun to eradicate.
Makes sense. Although, did you hear Tim Pool? He said likely engaging with Hamas. I'd bet we're going to be engaging with the IDF at times too.
Well, that's the thing is at least from what I was reading on it, they're like, now our boots will not actually touch the ground. Just the aid will come in, and then the IDF will be in charge of guarding it and distributing it. So the guys who are keeping it from getting in other directions will also be there to inspect it and keep it from getting in from that direction. So it's also just like the giant. I don't know. I'm just waiting for the next USS Liberty incident to happen.
Maybe they'll just be on bicycles so their boots aren't on the ground.
Yeah, I'm wondering if as they're floating that pier in, if Israeli fighter jets are just going to come and blow it up.
What are you talking about? We don't have boots on the ground. Everybody's wearing sneakers.
Oh.
So we didn't know that was your giant pier sitting off the coast. We thought it was Hamas's giant pier sitting off the coast. That's why
there we go.
I can see a giant USS Liberty incident happening.
I mean,
we had a giant red cross on top of the pier that said food service next to it. Oh, well, that made it an appealing target.
Yeah, I'm not planning on spending too long on this because I'm tired of talking about this war. But this is, I mean, how many times have we gone into a place with our military, started committing acts of violence, and considered it like
not a war,
not technically a war, and it wasn't voted on by anybody.
Every time since 1945,
right?
Including the invasion of Grenada.
Yes,
and
Panama.
There are so many.
Yeah, when we invaded and took out Noriega.
Was Vietnam not officially declared?
No,
nope.
Nothing since World War II.
Wow.
Yeah, oddly enough, we haven't even won like a skirmish. Well, minor skirmishes, but we haven't won any contingent operations since World War II, and it's debated.
Yeah, Korea's still
Nazis actually got prosecuted.
Korea's a stalemate. We got driven out of Vietnam.
We lost the war on drugs, the war on poverty, the war on homelessness. Like we've lost.
We did take Grenada, so I mean, I guess that's kind of a win.
We beat France again. The freedom fries was the death blow. Okay, we came out with the freedom fries, and they got a guy like Macron up in there. I say that's a victory.
And we did capture Noriega, so. I mean, I guess those are two somewhat wins.
Okay, well, you referenced more than what's his face in that debate with Scott Horton. Who's that general that he? Crystal, yeah, Crystal, yeah. He referenced the Balkans as our victory.
That wasn't a victory.
100% it wasn't a victory, but he said the Balkans were our most successful campaign since World War II.
Wow.
Shouldn't
most people argue probably Grenada was?
Well, you could say Korea. I mean, because we actually crossed into the Yalu River. And I mean, my grandfather included, and I've had several substitute teachers that were like, I melted multiple machine guns down. and ran out of ammo and then just started throwing knives.
Okay, let's be completely honest about it. Like none of these were a success. None of these should have been happening. We should not have been on the ground in any of these places. We should not have been murdering people
I would argue
around the world.
Of course, yeah.
They weren't even designed to succeed. That wasn't even the goal of these.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call them, not wars or whatever, but
what do we call them? Like what's a term the libertarians could put on these things, because they're not wars, because we haven't declared war since World War II. So
a deadly befuddlement.
Contingent operations.
War sounds good to me, because just because technically the Constitution says you have to declare war to be in a war, obviously that hasn't been followed for World War II at this point. So I think we should just call it what it is, which is wars.
So if you legislate that you have to declare murder to commit murder, then if you kill someone, it's not murder,
Yeah.
It's the same fucking thing. Like,
yeah, it's the same thing. I do like mass murder campaigns. That's pretty good. It's a little trite. I think a little overused. I don't know. There's got to be some other term that libertarians can put on this.
A fluffle.
A fluffle. That'll terrify everybody. That'll get everybody.
Inculcating democracy.
Yo, great. Let's use words that 98% of people don't understand.
Yeah, we got to bring it down to the Trump level.
Inculcating democracy. Yeah.
We got to bring it to third grade level speaking here.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just
liberating.
The fact that
I was reading Tolkien in third grade, so
I was too. The fact that we're on the ground in another country about to start murdering people. Granted, if it's Hamas, they're not good people, but we're still paying for it. We're still paying for something that Israel helped fund and is now biting them in the ass.
Well, and heads up, the OIC, because I was reading this plan again too, because I've referenced their 10-year plan of action that they put out in 2014, that they mostly achieved, by the way. You can just look at what's happening on college campuses around the country right now, and that was kind of part of their plan.
Yeah.
Wasn't expressly mentioned as such, but that was part of their. What's that?
Said if they actually achieved that, it would make it one of the most effective government plans in the history of society.
Yes,
given how what terribly most central plans go.
Well, hey, heads up! These folks have their heads on straight. They never left the 14th century. They still have totalitarian control of their people. And, with 52 member states and about a third of the global population under their wing, I think they can make things happen. And they're paying attention to this. And that's one of the efforts that they're making as well, is that, anyone that is, supporting the Western nations in this stuff, we're getting it from all angles. From a Sun Tzu perspective, we're screwed because we're fighting a war on 4 fronts, and that includes a war at home. Yeah. Because to these guys, it's a holy war. It's a religious war. And, we're fighting our own religion here at home. So
what's our religion?
Well, there's not a national religion, but what I'm saying is we're fighting religion here, because you have the flying spaghetti monster assholes, putting their monuments up.
Hey, that's what I believe in. How dare you?
Well, hey, the double helix of DNA resembles a pasta twist. So that's, that's proof right there, right? But seriously though, look at that. Like we're so divided and torn on every level of dichotomy possible.
Yeah.
And they're unified. And then you got Russia. They're out there. China hates us ideologically because they've got, they don't like capitalism, even though they're doing it better than us right now. They don't like the free Western nations. But then you got, let's pay attention here. The OIC is moving on some things, and we've taught them now because we've been over there in their backyard for the last 25 years, or actually, you can go back to Desert Storm. So really the last 30 years. We've been teaching them how we wage psychological war. We've brought their warfare into the modern era.
And it's about to come back on us. Region since Lawrence of Arabia.
Well, sure. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, with propaganda campaigns and all that stuff, along with the brute force and the shock and awe, we've been training them, while also using it against them. But they're watching and learning, and now they're flipping it back on us 30 years later.
Alden is a heathen.
I'm a heathen.
Well, anyway, sorry, Steven. I missed the last bit of that, but had to deal with a dog.
We were just talking about the spaghetti monster god.
Oh, sweet. So I missed the best part of tonight. Great. Okay.
Yeah, Steven was also talking about the West retaking Constantinople.
Oh. All right. Well, let's move on to the president of El Salvador.
Como pueden ver ustedes, todos los que estamos aquí reunidos son parte del Ejecutivo, del órgano ejecutivo, que es del cual yo estoy encargado, a excepción de una persona. Es el fiscal general que está aquí. Él no es del Ejecutivo. Y está acá por una razón bien sencilla. Y es porque le quiero pedir en público de que investiguemos a todos los que están acá. Para atrás y para adelante. Yo me imagino que pues no hay ningún problema, ¿no? Hay una persona que me dijo una vez, mire, ¿y tú no le temes a la muerte? Yo le dije, no, pues claro, nadie se quiere morir. Yo no me quiero morir, pero yo sé que me voy a morir algún día, como todos. Si hay algo que no se puede escapar es de la muerte. Todos los que estamos aquí en 100 años, pues, no va a haber nadie vivo. Nadie. Ninguno de los que estamos aquí, lo más probable es que nadie sabe cómo se llama el papá del abuelo de uno. Pero hay algo que yo sí le tengo miedo, y es a dejar un mal legado. Y hay presidentes, unos presos, otros fugitivos, pero la mayoría son recordados como ladrones. Yo no quiero ser recordado como el ladrón.
Yeah.
Yes.
Entonces yo no robo, porque no quiero ser recordado como el ladrón o el corrupto. Pero hubo un presidente, el presidente Duarte, que la gente decía en ese entonces, el presidente no es ladrón, pero se rodeó de ladrones. Y en algún momento representó una esperanza para el pueblo salvadoreño. Pero si acaso es verdad que él no robó, qué tonto fue. Porque él era la esperanza del pueblo, no tocó un centavo y manchó su legado por rodearse de ladrones. Entonces a mí no me va a pasar eso. Yo no voy a ser el presidente que no robó, pero se rodeó de ladrones. Pero que me recuerden como el presidente que no robó y que no dejó que nadie robara. Y al que robó lo metió a la cárcel. Ya hay un par que ya están en la cárcel.
All right. So that is the president of El Salvador, basically telling his attorney general to investigate everybody in the chambers in the legislative and it's the legislative branch that he's addressing, right? Yeah.
I thought he said executive.
Well, he was talking about the executive branch, but
Executive
maybe he was talking to everyone in general. But I like the message there. But also, I generally like Bukele. He's a very complex figure. I like what he says there, but then you also have things like him running for re-election and getting re-elected when the Constitution said you can't run for re-election. So he kind of changed the Constitution and said, "I'm going to do what I want there."
Who gives a crap about the Constitution and that? That's a dumb.
Yeah,
constitutions are dumb. They're broken all the time.
Generally, yes. I'm just saying, like, it's you're walking on a razor's edge whenever you're playing that. I'm not going to be corrupt, but also I'm going to ignore the rules.
Well, yeah, that's like Putin. I'm all for freedom. The people's will. This, that. Dude, you're president for life. Like,
right? You got to make sure you don't end up in
with ignoring idiotic laws that will not help. Like, if you're a leader trying to change a country and trying to change the culture of a nation, and you are doing it like your heart is in the right place, you're doing it for the right reasons. If he truly isn't stealing from his people or screwing over anybody in his population, then I see no problem with him ignoring dumb laws in the Constitution.
I'm just saying.
Here's the thing: what you're really saying there, and what I think we would all agree with, because we all think that democracy isn't that great to begin with, is that if you're a libertarian, you should not have any term limits. But if you're a statist, then you should have term limits because you're bad. But if you're a libertarian, that means and that means that you should just be able to do whatever you want, because our primary value is not democracy, it's liberty. So if we're convinced that somebody is going to really, be a force for liberty, who cares what the rules say? Just keep them in power for as long as possible. The problem with that is there are lots and lots of communists that are more than happy to pounce on that line of thinking to install themselves in the power. And I think that term limits are overall a really good thing to have, even if it does kick out the odd libertarian, because it kicks out 99 statists who are just using their tenure to become more and more corrupt all the time. And there's no way of differentiating between them, except for the five of us on this podcast passing judgment on people that we do and don't like.
Well,
I agree.
Like I'm, as long as Bukele's doing good stuff, and honestly, my understanding is he's got a huge backing of the people in El Salvador, because, well, he probably does. But I mean, he's turned around, and he's probably been overly authoritarian to get the gang problem in line there and turn it from the murder capital of the world to like a fairly reasonable, like comfortable place for people
where you can buy McDonald's with Bitcoin,
to start living and like start building some actual wealth and developing like a good place that people want to live and they're able to be successful.
Hell, Max Kaiser moved down there.
I know Max Kaiser moved down there.
He's doing something good. Like if Max Kaiser calls you a friend and moves to your backyard because of what you're doing, like there's something happening there.
Yeah. So I just want to give the full picture of Bukele. That like,
right,
he's a complex figure, and that doesn't mean he's doing things poorly, but he's doing what I think he feels like he has to.
I agree, but we didn't address this video enough. All I wanted to talk about was the video. I don't need the rest of it.
Yeah, so he's investigating everybody.
The
video is.
We don't look at. Yeah, we're not truncating the antecedents here.
Fair.
The video is awesome. I spent that entire time watching the video thinking, I wish Trump had watched this. Right. Because this was the exact problem that Trump had, which is that even if he wanted to do things that were good, he staffed his entire cabinet and all his other executive positions with people that were doing nothing but undermining him at every turn. And he was either too stupid or too lazy to not hire them or to fire them once he found out about it.
Like, had he put an attorney general in who was just a real go-getter and said, hey, the corrupt FBI who spied on my campaign and lied to get FISA warrants, why don't you go digging over there and see what they're up to? Because they've been up to this shit since J. Edgar Hoover was collecting files on every president and every politician and shaking them down for his own personal gain.
I thought of Trump too.
I mean, FDR had a code name in the Venona papers.
Steven, let Alden go first.
Okay.
It's all right. I thought of it too, but I wouldn't. It came to mind, but I wouldn't compare him to Trump in the direct way because I think it sounds like, I don't know a lot about Bukele, but it sounds like he's actually that's his goal, and I feel like other people assign that to Trump without that actually being Trump's goal so much, but they think that of him. Like they think more highly of Trump than I think Trump is even trying to be, if that makes any sense.
Well, Trump's whole thing in at least 2016 was what? Drain the swamp, right? And all the
but then
politicians and bureaucrats sitting there.
But did you actually believe that was like his real goal?
You didn't know it in 2016. You didn't know.
I knew because we watched him as a person for 20 years before that, and he wasn't doing anything with the same type of morals or ethics, or like he didn't care about that kind of thing. But I knew not to believe him. A lot of the time
he did stick to what he would say. So like he was a very good businessman, and he would actually do well in the business world, and he actually followed through on all the promises and things.
No, wrong. No, are you kidding me? With his business practices, that is absolutely not how I would describe his business practices.
Talk of all the people who claim that he refused to pay them, or
a long list of people. Yes,
I mean he took advantage of every loophole in the law. I mean,
and he told people what they wanted to hear to achieve a thing. He said at one point, Steven mentioned this, I think, a while back, that he's like, this was years prior. He's like, if I ran for president, I'd run as a Republican because those are the people who I could convince to vote for me, not because of his principles were Republican.
I've seen that video.
At all.
I've tried to dig the video up. It's impossible to find.
It's been scrubbed pretty well. Yeah. But no, I don't trust him, and I feel like I knew him well enough as a person to know that I don't believe what he's saying, but he's just trying to win the presidency, not actually on any real morals or whatever. Same as any president, really, but in modern memory. But
well, let's do one more topic, and then we'll go to the funny stuff. And
well, let me say one thing real quick about Bukele down there. There was a time in our country when all major executive department leaders had the same ideology, and we called it a background check. Investigating everybody. Talking about you don't want corruption around you. It was just called, your job application, and we have strayed from that.
Background checks are racist. Ask Sheets.
But I mean, we have strayed from that mostly in my lifetime. I'm not quite 40 yet, but dare I say, since the Clinton era, we have kind of strayed from that. But I mean, there was a time that there was hey, you want to be an FBI agent? Hey, we're going to scrub your background. And sometime in the last 20 years or so, it's just been like, oh, hey, did you like communism in college? Sweet, let me give you a badge.
For some reason, this reminds me of the Key and Peele, where Jordan Peele plays Obama rolling up a joint at a college party or something. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's as far as background. Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about one more thing, then we'll watch a few funny videos and get out of here.
I don't believe any single goddamn thing I say, especially around world events, because everything I've ever heard, I can't believe a single thing that turned out to be real.
That's true.
This is one of my favorite fake things. Orson Welles famously did the War of the Worlds broadcast, and people freaked out in New Jersey.
Yep.
And they made a movie about it, and they study it in schools to this day, mass psychology. That didn't fucking happen. One or two people called the police, because, by the way, the broadcast said this is a radio teleplay and not reality. Was clearly in the broadcast, so nobody was fooled.
Columbia Broadcasting
Yeah, but if you
System
tuned
and
in
affiliated stations present Orson Welles and the Mercury Theater on the Air in The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells.
The newspapers, because radio was a new medium, like YouTube or whatever, it was a threat to the papers because people were getting their information off the radio, and so they are smearing it.
Oh, they were saying this is dangerous.
I know the New York Daily News was one. I can't remember all the names of papers, and they just spread it around, and it became a fucking fact.
That's unbelievable.
It's in The Gray Lady Winks is the name of the book. It's all about all the fake shit in the New York Times, the paper of record. Just whatever. Take your pick of things. It takes about 20 or 30 years to find out what actually happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So never piss off anybody that buys ink by the barrel, right?
There you go.
Because they can make shit up and it'll take you 30 years to unravel it.
Yeah, the whole point of me showing this thing was just like, when you see big things happening in the news, don't just immediately think you know exactly what happened, because there's just countless times where days, months, weeks, years, decades down the road, it will be the exact opposite of what you thought, because you were told the wrong information by people who didn't want certain information to come out, or who wanted to skew it a certain way, or who had their own vested interests. Just question everything.
Yeah, beyond just the War of the Worlds in the time, but the New York Times, but running cover for the Russians during the Holodomor, right? I mean, wow, what was his name? Who was? Why do I always forget his name? He won a Pulitzer for his work saying, "No, there's no famine going on over here. What are you talking about?" And just covering for the Russians.
I don't know.
Why am I blanking on his name?
I'm blanking too.
Steven, you know who I'm talking about.
So my favorite example of this general kind of thing is, you guys have seen the movie Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah.
That was based on the book about all the ways that the author of the book and then the protagonist of the movie that's was turned into, like, was playing confidence tricks on people and scamming them. Like, he said that he became an airline pilot with no training. He became a doctor with no training. He did all of these different stuff. But it turns out almost all of that he just made up. So he scammed everybody about how good of a scammer that he had been.
That's a pretty good scammer.
The ultimate scam, yeah. The meta level scam.
That's a fantastic scammer right there. That is very impressive. Well, everybody out there, thank y'all so much for watching our show.
Did you hear the law that's going through Congress now?
What? We're not talking about a law?
Well, I wanted to, before we start wrapping up, I wanted to hit this real quick. Did you see that one?
The one that we're going to get in trouble for things we say now?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, no, I've seen it.
But you can't say a certain group killed a certain person.
We're going to talk about it next week.
Okay.
That'll be a next week thing.
After it's signed into law.
After it's signed into law, then we will talk about it. Y'all, again, thank y'all so much for tuning into the show. We really appreciate it. We love doing this show. We are sponsored by Rabbit Eye Wine. Go get yourself some delicious blueberry wine. I'm telling you, it is fantastic. If you're in the state of Georgia, you can find it at a bunch of stores in the area. If you're not, you can have it shipped to you. Go to rabbiteyewine.com to learn more about that. You can also go buy some of our awesome new merch. Our store is going to be continuing to expand. We're going to get more and more items of clothing and drinkware and all sorts of stuff. I'm going to try to get as much alcohol-related drinkware as we possibly can on the website. So we'll see how that goes.
You know what we should do, Jake? We should maybe offer a an incentive for people to buy merch. If you buy merch, you get entered into a chance to appear on the show and participate in a round of trivia.
I'm down to entertain some incentives for folks. I think that'd be fun.
About it.
Hannah says Jake definitely thinks doing alcohol is cool. For now,
make
we are going.
Make sure to use promo code Jackie Chan for 10% off.
Oh, that is totally going to be our promo code. That is fantastic. All right, well, we're going to just watch a few funny videos and get out of here. These are 4 of the funniest ones that I've seen this past week. So here we go.
Thinking about Kanye because I watched that Netflix documentary, and he's just like goes into like this record company, and they don't know who he is, and he just goes into every office there, plays them his tracks. It's like, what do you think? And they're like, we think you're crazy. This is wild. And he's like, just you wait. Everyone's gonna be on board with this. A couple years later, he was right. And then he launched that fashion line. Everyone who worked in fashion was like, this is crazy. You're wild. And he was like, just you wait. Couple of years, everyone's going to be on board with this. And then a year and a half ago, he started saying all that anti-Semitic. I was like, you're being crazy. This is wild. You got to think Kanye was like, just you wait. Everyone's going to be on board with this. And now I think Kanye sees the future. I really do. Dude is brilliant.
Yeah, that is such a good bit. That's such a good bit.
If he starts talking about a meteor hitting the Earth, I'll be concerned.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very fair. I like that. All right.
Kanye's just the man who's ahead of the time. I mean,
so here's just a video that a guy was walking through a field and caught this on camera.
What is going on there?
Freaking rabbit is fending for its life against this hawk or falcon, whatever that thing is. I thought that was insane.
I think it's a big chungus praising liberty.
If he'd have stuck with the rest of his fluffle, he'd be all right. Safety in numbers.
This one says, when people from Baltimore try to pronounce the phrase "Aaron earned an iron earn."
Oh God.
Bottom accents. Say this phrase out loud. Earn, and earn. Earn. Aaron, earn, and iron, earn. Damn, what the fuck? We really talk like that? Earn, earn. Earn, the iron, earn. What? Earn, the iron, earn. Aaron earned an iron earn. Earn.
They're like crowing roosters.
An earn. Yeah. It's not that, dummy. It's Aaron. It's earned an iron earn, dummy. Aaron earned an iron earn. Aaron earned an iron earn.
Oh my God.
Earn.
That killed me.
That is so
Aaron.
Oh my gosh. All right. Final one of the night, y'all. All right. Here we go. So this is a bunch of dudes on playing a video game together via the internet. So
thanks, Dad.
Just letting everybody know who's listening and not watching. Giant twat.
Would you guys be there for me if I was going through something?
No. Nope. Absolutely not.
I hope it sucks whatever you're going through.
I hope it sucks. What the fuck? I hope it emotionally scars you for the rest of your life. I hope you reach out to me so I can ignore you.
I can't wait to go to your funeral knowing that I could have changed that outcome.
What the hell? Real quick. I was just asking if you wouldn't be there.
Nice.
Yes, I can confirm that was 90% of the chats I had in Warcraft.
100%. Yeah.
I dutifully served 7 years as DPS leader of a top 5 PvP guild on a medium pot server. And that was it.
Oh man. Well, y'all, that's it for this week. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to Liberty Libations number 73. We're approaching 100, y'all. It's going to be awesome. We're going to try to do a live version of this show when I believe 4 of us are going to be on site in Washington, D.C. for the LP National Convention. So we're going to try to set up a live one for that week and maybe bring in Stephen and Alden via the internet. Alden.
Can't you throw Alden in the van and just drive him up to DC with you?
The van's just kidnap Montana, man. The van's in Montana.
You died out there?
No, I drove it out there. That's where I stay when I'm out there.
And then he walked home.
Yeah, no, I drive it out there. I hauled a trailer full of stuff and left it out there. My buddy's working on it right now. He's giving it a tune up.
He just flew in from Montana, and boy, are his arms tired.
Oh. Did you? Yeah, he drove a bunch of illegal immigrants out to Montana.
Correct.
In the van. Yeah.
All right.
Pay well?
I don't know. Depends on who you ask.
I guess once they're on your property, it doesn't cost much to have them build your house, right?
I mean, it's being built as we speak, so it's perfect.
That's how it's getting built so fast. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
They brought Chinese rebar up from Mexico.
All right, y'all. Next week, Zane hosts trivia. I will be participating in trivia for the first time ever on this show. You will get to see how truly stupid I really am. It's fantastic.
We'll get to see why he
Is Zane choosing the topics, or are
Zane's
you
choosing
writing?
everything. Zane's doing everything.
Oh, great. Now we'll all look stupid.
Taylor Swift stuff again or something.
I'd win that one.
You probably would.
All right, y'all. Don't forget, tune into the Wrexham Texan this Sunday at noon Eastern. It is going to be an extra long episode because it's end of the season wrap up. And then tune into Free Georgia Podcast Mondays at 8 p.m. That's it for this week. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Cheers.